Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for tuning in to another episode of Generation Wrestling Podcast. As always, it's yours truly, the 29-year-old piece of gold, the franchise, aka the showstopper. And with me today, I got a very special guest. He is a former TNA World Heavyweight Champion, former TNA Tag Team Champion, former NWA World Heavyweight Champion, and your current number one contender for the Impact World Heavyweight Championship, Nick Aldis. Nick, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for the introduction.
Absolutely, and thank you for taking the time to join me today. Really quick, man, let's get right into it. So recently on Impact, you participated in the All-Star Tag Team match, in which we saw at the end of that, you turned on Alex Shelley, his first time winning the Impact World Heavyweight Championship. Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, they dubbed this as Machine Gun Era. So my question to you would be, where does Nick Aldis fit into the Machine Gun Era?
Well, that's exactly why I take issue with it. What a disrespect to me. I show up at Impact Wrestling, make a huge difference right out of the gate. I mean, the episode of Impact following my debut at Rebellion gets the highest viewership in over a year for the company. And, things happen the way they happen. And, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin have a good night at Against All Odds, and they both win their respective singles titles. And next thing you know, they're dubbing this whole thing the Machine Gun Era. What a disrespect to me! Not to mention the fact that if you go back and look at that tag team match, I was 100% effective in my time in the ring. Right, like I take Kenny King to school, and then I tag out, and then they never tag me back in. And then we get to Chris Sabin is getting abused in there and manhandled, really getting exposed. And then what happens when he finally finds an opening and can make a tag? I'm standing right there, franchise. I mean, I had my hand well out, right? Like, wait, who are you going to tag if you need someone to come in and clean house, right? You're looking at him. No, he has to go. He has to go to his buddy. He has to tag in Alex Shelley, and he's got to be a glory hound. He's already the world champion. We've already given him this big to do, and everybody's hugging him backstage, and oh my God, you deserve it. And then he's got to come and be a glory hound and take all the spoils in the tag team match too. And he's in and out of the ring, and he's doing all this stuff. I could have had that. I could have had the job done in about 1 minute. Yeah, and instead, no, we got to have the Alex Shelley show. He's got to come in and he's got to do all this fancy schmancy stuff. And I was very disrespected. And I'm the number one contender for the world championship at Slammiversary. I'm here to make a huge difference for this company. And these guys are busy trying to make me an afterthought. I don't take that very well. So I decided, enough's enough. Enough with this handshaky, I respect you, and I respect the company, I respect the fans, and I respect the title. I'm here. No, listen, man, I'm strictly business. Yeah, I'm here to win the world championship. I said as soon as I showed up, that's what I was here to do. I did the mandatory nice guy routine so that nobody would get their panties in a wad when I got awarded, spots in the number one contendership match. I knew I would win that match, and as soon as I came here to do, what I said I was going to do, and became the number one contender for Slammiversary, I went, right, now I don't have to pretend anymore. Enough with this charade. Now the real me gets to come back.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that we love. Now, speaking of, you coming back, you've been all over the place. Do you want to go, cash the checks and breaking necks is what I like to say you've done. With that being said, this isn't your first foray in Impact Wrestling. I know you're challenging, for the number one contendership now for the world title, but outside of that, what else is there left for Nick Aldis to do in Impact?
Well, what you're seeing right now is what I'm here to do, which is to turn this company around. Right now, there's a big difference between the Nick Aldis who left Impact Wrestling, right, and the one who triumphantly returned at Rebellion. The difference being that, yes, I worked my way through every spot on the card in the company in my first run. Yes, I shared the ring with Hall of Famers. I even retired a couple of them, but I still hadn't really found myself. You know what I mean? I was still a kid. I was 26, 27, I was still finding myself. And it was like, I had to go away and really sort of hone my identity. And I think that that's been proven by the fact that when I came back, people weren't talking about my first Impact run. They were talking about, oh shit, this is the guy that turned around a dead brand, and this is the guy that carried an entire company on his back. This is the guy that headlined All In with Cody Rhodes. This is the guy that that's made history over the last 5 years. That's the Nick Aldis who has returned to Impact Wrestling, right? A major upgrade, right?
Yes, sir.
So the objective now is to apply all those principles that I have mastered and honed with very limited resources, and now apply them to this company and to, sprinkle some Nick Aldis magic on this place and take it to the next level.
You said you left and you revived a dead company. For those talent men and women who are afraid to take a bet and gamble on themselves, because I feel like you've come back as an even bigger star now than, like you said, the first time you were there. And that took some stepping away, and now you're back and people are looking at you like the real deal, the true main event, a guy who can see holding that world heavyweight title once again. For anybody that, maybe feels stuck in limbo, what is your advice to up and coming talent?
You've got to bet on yourself, right? If you believe it, they believe it, right? What are you gonna do? You're gonna change the company's mind by writing passive aggressive tweets or going and knocking on the boss's door and complaining that it's I ain't gonna do nothing, right? Like at some point you got to just go, okay, business is about supply and demand. I need to go and create demand, right? And then the product that they want, I control the supply of it. You have to be willing to take a risk, take a bet, right? Like you said, bet on yourself, take a gamble and go, okay, here's how I see myself. Here's my vision for my place in the industry, my value. If you don't know how to help me achieve that, then I need to go and achieve that by myself. And then I'll come back to the table and now you can negotiate with me.
Right.
Right. Like now if you want to do business with me, now guess what? Step into my office.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's how this works. It takes courage, right? You have to be willing to swallow your pride a little bit. Nobody, I mean, look, when I was first working with the NWA, people were literally going, the what? Like, I didn't even know that was still a thing. Like, what is, right. And like, what's he doing even? Like, what does that even mean? But a year later, people weren't asking that question no more. Yeah. Now, like a year later, suddenly people are going like, oh, Nick Aldis and Cody Rhodes is the true main event of this show. How did that happen? Well, I'll tell you how it happened. It happened because, in the space of a year, I completely reinvented myself and completely changed the perception of my value in the industry and the credibility that I brought to it, as the perfect antagonist for the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. And it's like, I knew that I could be that guy. It's just sometimes, you might be the only person that sees it, and you have to go and prove it and show it, right? And then, next thing you know, it's like your level is your level has changed, and that's what I mean. My advice to anyone who is feeling that way is like, okay, if you're making good money and you're happy with that, then take it. If you want to, but if you feel like you have something, if you feel like there's something missing, then you might have to go and just build it. Yeah. Like you might have to just go and build it and showcase it and present it, and then be like, all right, who wants to work with this? Yeah. But that takes courage.
Absolutely. And I definitely feel like the ball's in your court. King Tuco, man, what's your question for Nick Aldis?
Nick, sorry for the late arrival. My audio was giving me an issue. You talked about your journey, and when you talk about someone like Cody Rhodes, who wasn't seen as that guy that he believed that he could be, and he took that journey, he took that step, and people saw it, and you took that step in that journey. For you, were you more comfortable being on the outskirts of what people thought was the big show and working in the smaller market? And was that something that you were more comfortable with, and you did until you decided that you're ready to go back to the main roster?
I don't know if comfortable is the right word. I just knew that at that particular time, the only way that I was going to present the persona and the person that I could see in my mind's eye was to do it 100% myself, with no with no filter, no tinkering, no sort of compromising, and that's certainly not something that I would advocate for people who work within a company system, because that ain't the ball game. If you work for a company, if you signed a contract, like you've agreed that you're going to compromise, you've agreed that you're going to work, so then you're putting the trust, and sometimes that can work. Sometimes it's like there are plenty of examples of guys who thought that they could do better without the input of a creative team and a production team and things of that nature, and it has proven to not be the case. Okay, so I don't want to sit here and go, oh, it's always the best way, right? It's just it was the right thing for me to do at that time. And it was the right thing for Cody to do at that time. I think it depends on your level of experience and your level of maturity and your willingness to take risks and your I think your self-awareness. Right, that you got to be willing to sort of go, okay, how do people see me, and why is that? So. In Cody's case, I think it was the same thing. He said, okay, people see me as this. I see me as this. So now I have to go and show them this. I have to go show them the guy that I see. Because right now, they only see me as this. And it worked out. I mean, he's the ultimate example of a guy who bet on himself, and it paid off huge. And I'm very happy for him, very proud of him. And I'm also grateful to him because, by working with him, it helped my cachet. We were one of those rare situations where and again, because it's a testament to how we both look at the business, and we're traditionalists. We came out of our rivalry with each other both better off. It wasn't just, it didn't just benefit him by getting to have the big win on this big show and winning the title that his father had held. It also did a lot for me, because then by the time we got there, people were like, man, this guy is the real deal. This guy is different. This guy is special. And he does feel like a credible antagonist and a credible adversary for this guy who we really want to see win, but we don't know for sure. That is the sweet spot of booking, right? We really want this guy to win, but we don't know for sure that it's going to happen, and that's a testament to the other guy. That's what being a champion is about: is creating enough doubt where people go, man, I don't know if he can beat that guy. And that's what's interesting about Slammiversary, gents, because I'd put it to you and say that the unique situation about Slammiversary is I think that Alex Shelley is the underdog. I think that people are looking at this and going, if he beats Nick Aldis, that's kind of an upset. I'll say this. This will be the true test of Alex Shelley as world champion, because if he can beat me, then he's reached a level of credibility that he has previously not reached. And that's not a knock on him. That's 100% about me. That's what I bring. And at Slammiversary, this will be the true test of him as a main event level player.
Well, speaking of Slammiversary's in Windsor, Ontario, Canada, Saturday, July 15th. Before that, on my birthday, Friday, June 23rd, and the 24th, we got Summer Sizzler in Atlanta, Georgia.
Summer Sizzler.
Too cold. I know we were just in Columbus and we just watched the Against All Odds pay-per-view in which we've seen, the 8-4-1 match in which Nick, that's how you became the number one contender too, Cole, man. Talk to us, man. What did you think about that? And what's another question you got for Nick as we get ready to wind?
No, I enjoyed the match. I actually like the concept of the match. You got 4 guys going up against another 4 guys, where the winner of that team, you get to go into a fatal 4-way for the number one contendership. I actually like that. That was a very great idea. And to see you win it, which, I expected you to win. Bully Ray, I figured he would try to pull something, which we all know he does, but he wasn't able. You were able to come out with a victory. But for you to have already had a run in this company and to be back and to have this opportunity to go against Alex Shelley at Slammiversary, what is your main objective now being back? You've already won. You've reached the mountaintop here. What is your new objective?
No. The mountaintop is the world championship. That's the objective. That's what I set my sights on from the beginning.
After winning it,
I'm going to win the world title, and then I'll take the world title and the company to previously unseen heights, maybe not seen since the last time I was there. That's the objective. I mean, look, and I don't think there's anyone in the industry who can say that they single-handedly carried a brand as much as I have, over the last few years.
Right.
And so to be able to apply that to a company that's much more sophisticated, with a much more significant budget and a much stronger team behind the scenes.
Definitely.
That's an exciting thought and a scary thought for the rest of the roster because, like hold on to the cape.
Absolutely. Well, Nick, I know your time is short. Once again, we got Summer Sizzler in Atlanta, Georgia, Center Stage, June 23rd, Friday, June 23rd, Saturday, June 24th.
Center Stage. It's always been very good to me. Atlanta's always been very, very good to me. I hope all the fans down in Atlanta decide to come out because, boys, the gloves are off. Yeah, now they finally get to hear my real thoughts. They get to hear what I really think. Live mic.
And we also got July 15th for Slammiversary. Nick, really quick, where can people find you on social media? And also, if they want to watch Slammiversary, how can they tune in? And if they want to buy tickets, where can they find them?
Well, impactwrestling.com is the go-to for all of the information for Impact Wrestling, including where they can watch Slammiversary on pay-per-view. It will be on Fight TV, I believe, pay-per-view, as well as Impact Plus. I'm not sure. And and then there's also all the ticket links for Atlanta and for Slammiversary in Windsor, Ontario. That's going to be a very, very big night, good crowd. We're expecting a very good turnout up there in Windsor. And then as for me, you can follow me on Twitter at Real Nick Aldis, and then on Instagram at Nick Aldis. I'm still verified on Instagram. They didn't mess around with that. Yeah, man. It's and if anyone's interested in upping their game with their nutrition level, go to legacysupps.com and you can use code IMPACT for 20% off your entire order. And that's my company. That's my supplements. I endorse them. I curate them, and I stand by them. I use them myself.
Well, Nick, as a fellow gym head, I look forward to trying that out. And with that being said, thank you once again for taking the time to join us. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for tuning in to another episode of Generation Wrestling Podcast. I'm the 29-year-old piece of gold. He's your King Tuco, and he's your next Impact World Heavyweight Champion, Nick Aldis. Until next time, we'll see you later, brother.
That's right. Thanks, guys.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
Oh.